And welcome to the Music Challenge Podcast. My name is Andrew, and we are here tonight, and we'll tell you the topic in just a second. Whatever. Hey, Jed.
Yeah, man.
How you doing, dude?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good.
That's exactly what I was supposed to do, right?
Yeah, that's kind of it. Like, you just batted it right back at me. See,
every
everyone,
time I get a little better, a tiny bit better.
Well,
no, I'm doing good. We're like hanging on by the just by the edge here, like a week before Christmas at home. But yeah, it turns out having kids around all the time and that never sleep is really hard on the getting Christmas shit done. Like wrapping gifts and like being Santa and like all that stuff is very hard. And also the fucking elf every night is really, really hard to deal with. Kevin, how are your journeys this last couple weeks?
Stuff's weird. It's weird and it's hard. And I think it's hard for everyone. Music's definitely been a balm to some of that stuff.
And a balm.
Jed, I hear you. A balm?
A balm.
Like a soothing balm.
Like a balm?
A soothing balm.
Yeah.
And then, in some cases also a bomb, like a psychedelic bomb. But no, I just getting back really quickly to the kid thing, Jed, I am grateful I no longer have to keep up that delusion in our household, which makes Christmas much more of a transactional nature.
I'm thinking this is thinking this is the last year, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Are you keeping
I know
up
your
delusions?
kids.
No, I mean it's at this point it's a joke, but it's interesting, and I get you about the whole transactional experience. It's I don't know. It's fun in a different way as she gets older, and just I don't know, to see what she's looking for and what a new cell phone or whatever.
It's the fun of the growth and change.
Absolutely, right? It is fun.
How you doing, Andrew?
I'm doing okay. Been running back and forth between Champaign, Illinois, and Chicago, and keeps me busy.
It's a distance.
Got some other things cooking, so we'll see what comes out of that. Maybe we'll have a big change coming soon.
I know.
So, not worth announcing on the show. But, I'm currently in the 11th episode of Lost in Space, so I'm pretty happy with that. That's when they used to make 30 episodes a season.
Wow.
So I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I can watch 90 episodes of Lost in Space.
It's a tall commitment.
Yes. When in fact I do have Netflix and there's far better things.
Can I throw a great one out for you? And like everyone else in the entire world should watch this show is What We Do in the Shadows, and it's based off of a movie by Jermaine Clements, which was one of the two guys from Flight of the Conchords. And it is like one of the best shows I've ever seen. It's like two seasons long, and it's about like centuries old vampires that live on Staten Island, like in a crazy
old, robots in it
in a vampire like mansion, and just like murder people recklessly, and like like nothing ever happens.
I've heard about
but
this.
It's like all shtick humor.
Yeah.
It's so good. Like we watched through it and then immediately went to the first episode and watched it again, because it was like, we need more of this in our lives. Wow. And it went so fast.
What's it called again?
What We Do in the Shadows.
Rob.
Really good.
Yo.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right. Just like these guys getting through this year. We only have a couple more weeks.
That's true.
So it'll be, I don't know. I don't think it's going to just flip on January 1 and it's going to be a new year.
I think we're all getting the vaccine on New Year's Day.
I'm hoping that things starting to straighten out. Obviously, everybody else is too, but I'm doing okay. Working. Yeah.
Working in a coal mine.
That's what I feel like sometimes.
Right on.
Drew, what are we doing tonight?
What we're doing tonight is the best of 2020 per our picks.
Yes.
Psych Fest.
It did turn into Psych Fest.
Yes.
Yeah, we're doing best of 2020 Psych Fest. So if you're into psychedelic music, hold on to your head, Fred, because we got some barn burners for you. And if you're not into psychedelic music, if you just want to hear something new, we got some good ones for you. So you're going to thoroughly enjoy this hour. It's going to be fun. We're going to relive all the great memories of 2020. Which we just did. They are over. Yes. Yes. And thank God the Dodgers won the World Series. That's actually one of the worst parts of 2020.
Good God.
So so that's what we're doing tonight, the best of 2020. And featuring tonight, we have the OCs. We have Freddie's Witch Fingers. No, that's
Frankie.
Not it. No, it's not it.
Frankie and the Witch Fingers.
Yeah. So the album is Strange to Explain by Woods.
Okay, cool. It was an excellent album. It was cool.
Right on.
Right on. I just wanted to give everyone a little taste of what we're talking about. But
you have to give them a taste of what you're talking about as well.
Oh, the band.
The
album I chose is by the band King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. So if you're a King Giz fan, hold on. We're gonna melt your ears back a little bit. So, along with several other of these albums. So, you're gonna enjoy it. So, Jed, take the floor and tell us what you're.
Yes, sir.
What you're bringing to the people.
So I am presenting the 23rd album of a band called the OCs.
Or OCs.
Or OCs. The fifth rendition of OCs. Right now they decided to spell their name different again.
Wrong.
Different.
For this album, different.
It's never wrong.
It kind of looks like when you look at them all lined up, it kind of looks like they're just looking for like the best Google search, because it's like the OCs, the OCs, the OCs, or they're just fucking with everyone.
They're doing SEO through their
right. Yeah, through their band name, exactly.
Right, to show up top.
But yeah, their 23rd album. They started playing music in '97, and I have banged out 23 albums, which I think is incredible in various renditions.
Actually, it's 23 years.
Didn't they release like 2 or 3 last year?
Yeah. Yes,
they just like crank them out. But this one is called Protein Threat.
Protein. I don't think it's protein.
No, you're right. I just said it wrong because I say things wrong.
I might be wrong. Okay.
No, I think you were right. Protein Threat. And it's an awesome album. I love the sort of, this band is all about percussion with 2 drummers, and not all about, but I think it's
now
core focus. And right. I think they rule on this album. It's just, it feels like I keep coming back to this idea that it feels like a Guy Ritchie like kung fu spy movie. Like it has this like retro-y kind of like sleazy riff, but it's not sticky. It's just like it's really tied in. It's like really tuned into this sort of feel, and it has ups and downs, and then they like throw their just like kind of wailing into it, like here and there. But like there are these like
throw their weight into it.
little breaks, and then like mid song, it's just like whop, and then they just like slam it on, and I love that about them. And I also find this album to be incredibly listenable. Sometimes in this genre, I like my ears get kind of tired.
Agreed.
And this is one of those albums, and same with like Rose City Band, which is not on the list, but we talked about it last week, I think,
right,
or a couple weeks ago, where it's just easy on the ears. You can listen to it over and over again, and like I'm going on a drive in a couple weeks, and like this is gonna get played 2 or 3 times. It's like 40 minutes long, and it's just like it's great road music, great adventure music. Like, you feel kind of like a badass listening to it. Like,
keeps you rolling.
True.
And what did you guys think?
I loved it. And I couldn't stop thinking at the beginning of the record, this sounds like an Adam West Batman like fight scene.
Yeah, totally. You totally get like the same vibe.
I don't know why, but it did. It reminded me of that. Like, it was that 60s and 70s Batman. But anyways, this is, and I can honestly say, this is the first time that the OCs have caught me. And I've tried a lot, like, and maybe I haven't enough, but honestly, this is the first time the OCs have caught me, and I really dug it. And I was glad that you picked this too, Jed, because I was like, I'm listening to this album, and it did. It caught me. I dig it.
Right on.
This album, this album is only like 3 months old.
It's really new. Yes.
37 months ago in September, and it's the first impression for me was just how much it was led by the drummers. Most of these OCs albums are, John Dwyer just throwing riffs down and everybody else kind of keeping up. This one, it felt like he let the controls, like, I don't know, it's a different sound from them.
No doubt. I agree.
Than some of their other albums, right?
I agree. I mean, for a band that is constantly transforming, and
it's kind of ever changing.
Right. This is yet another incarnation. And frankly, I like it better than the last 2 albums, to tell you the truth. Because the last 2 albums kind of got into that dark, heavy psych place that, frankly, King Gizzard went through. And, almost it's a pseudo heavy metal type sound.
Sure.
And which I don't really dig. I mean, if I really wanted to hear heavy metal, I'd listen to heavy metal.
Sure.
So, and I do, when I want to listen to heavy metal, I do. But what I got out of listening to this, and when I thought of it, it kind of struck me hard, and that is Primus.
There's
like Sailing the Seas of Cheese type Primus.
Sure. There's like Primus and Ween, like all that sort of like. There you go. That jazzy oddity sort of to it, and I think that's a sort of a thread in that. I mean, I think that's where those bands like pick this up, is like the early world of that. But yeah, I think they really jump back into that, and his voice helps with the Primus connection too. I think
no doubt.
Oysterhead too, like it definitely has like there are a couple songs on there where it does have that kind of reference to them, or
that's true. I don't think I would get the Oysterhead thing.
I think it's just his voice. I think he just sounds like Les Claypool, like some of those
little bit
points where it's like
a little bit.
I think that's part of it. I think, there's a lot of bleeps and bloops in this album, kind of like a Primus album. And then it, like, in the middle of it, all of a sudden it goes full bore to 10, and then it'll back off and be quiet again. and it just kind of there's several things that remind me of Primus, which is cool because I love Primus, but I also love the OCs. So
Primus sucks.
John Dwyer, the lead in the OCs, is such a prolific musician, and he's got so many irons in the fire constantly. I mean, you know, you can look at bands like Damaged Bug, Bent Arcana, which are just like two of the other projects he's done this year. And if you haven't heard the Bent Arcana album, you really, really need to. It's like an acid-fueled improv thing that's got dudes from like all over Northern California, and I want to say the guy from TV and the radio is there, and Peter Curlin from Sun Watchers, and there's just some really cool musicians that this guy jams with and plays a lot of different types of music, and it feels like this album was influenced a lot by the idea of just kind of jamming and playing a more open sound. And then, you know, it's the OCs, and so they are going to kick you in the kidney repeatedly at times,
right,
in a good way.
Right. And I heard more of that Ty Segall type sound, not realizing it.
Totally.
Just kind of the full board is like a guitar sound. Now, Ty Segall didn't touch this album. However, I didn't realize that Ty Segall co-produced Orc. And
really?
Yeah. Which I read that today, and I was like, oh, really? I mean, I love Orc. Orc is a pretty damn
I like
good
Orc
album.
a lot too. Yeah.
Yeah, Orc is. I think that
some fucking awesome songs.
Later Defeated at Last to me are like peak OCs.
Mutilator might be my.
Yeah, that was my entry too.
Yeah, well, it was my entry, and it's also one of my favorites. It's not a dud on there.
No, those are the primal songs that I think kind of wired our brains.
That and the two albums before that too.
Right? Like how, okay, this band does this, and then you discover, like you said, the stuff before, and you're like, oh my God.
We should say, so the big reveal is that like Kevin and I saw the OCs three years in a row at this place in Chicago. And each time was a unique experience. And frankly, the sound levels are to probably nearly illegal limits. And it is out of control. It is absolutely pound for pound, probably one of the best concert experiences you will experience anywhere if you like music. If you don't like music, then I don't know what to tell you. So, what are you checking out there, Rob? What's going on? You got?
I was just sorry.
Jumping onto your stats.
No. Sorry.
I think we should pass the torch to you, and you can.
So, do we want to talk,
Mike?
So pass the mic.
Pass the
so
mic,
you guys want to talk about my record, Frankie and the Witch Fingers? Monsters eating people.
I think there's definitely some solid correlation between
absolutely
OCs and these guys. Like,
and
yeah, but
I
was blown away by this record.
That's cool to hear. But part of the reason, obviously, I picked this record because I've been obsessed by it. But one of the main reason I know this record is because of one Kevin Foss, and he threw it at me earlier this year, and it just caught me. And it's just rocking, continuous. It's tight. It's got depth to me, and it's fun to listen to. And a couple weekends ago, I had the treat of getting their live stream that they did, and they pretty much played this whole album. It was incredible, unbelievable, basically nonstop guitar, bass, and drums, 2 guitars, bass and drums. Female bass player, absolutely rips, unbelievable. So, and I see that correlation between the OCs. This caught me before the OCs did. I don't know why.
Oh, I know why. Totally.
But I love this freaking record.
Yeah, I mean,
no, I think it has its own. I mean, it definitely isn't just a copy. Like, it has its own thing. Like, they are doing something different.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of like, if you like this band, you'll like this other band. You know, like
they're definitely in the same vein in that way.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, it's garage psychedelic rock, and it's the same genre, whatever. But I just love what these guys do. I thought when I first listened to it, I thought in my head, it's because sometimes the OCs to me is too washed out. Like some of it is, it's too like, I don't know if
too clean
mix. But this, I said when I first heard this, that Frankie was like the OCs with more clarity. It's like, it just seems like the instruments are more discernible in Frankie than they are in the OCs. But I haven't listened to a ton of OCs. This last OCs record was the first one that caught me.
Well, yeah, they definitely do
this year.
They do a lot of that, like, experimental sound stuff where they're like creating noises out of instruments that you don't, that are really unexpected. I thought there was a decent amount of that on here too, but like, but yeah, maybe a little more approachable. I see where you're coming from with that, but like,
it's a little more smooth, especially with the congas in it.
Yeah, it has sort of.
I kind of thought it for a little bit. It had a Santana vibe. It kind of had that Latin type thing going through it a little bit, but not totally. I mean, it's a garage psych album for sure.
Right.
I mean, you know. So these guys are from Bloomington, Indiana.
Yeah.
Originally, kind of in their original incarnation, and moved out to LA, I believe, in 2016.
Yes. You're right.
Which is significant because they sound like, frankly, they have Ty Seagal's fingerprints all over them once again. Just like they are climbing that same psychedelic mountain that everyone else is, except the OCs.
Right.
Who invented their own psychedelic mountain. Mm-hmm. No one else is on it. And that's not at all to say this album washed out, because obviously this album was awesome. But I guess I'm just saying it's got some sound resemblances. That's all. That
absolutely.
What's your? I was anxious to listen to like what your favorites were, Rob, because it's one of those albums where I'm like, I love this song and I love this song, like.
Cavehead, and then that last tune, the last tune on the record is, and it's cool. I love this album because there's not space between some songs; they flow into the next one, and that's how they
can't tell.
That's how they and that's how they played it. And when they played it live on the live webcast, and it was just so fucking cool, man. I love this record. I've listened to it hundreds of times, I feel like, at this point. And Kevin, we need to get your thoughts on this record too, but I've sent songs to him from this album since the day he sent me this album. Been like, this is fucking awesome. It is. I just love it.
Been holding out on it.
Yeah. It's we've had a running conversation about this album for a little while. It's only been out for a couple of months. It's that new. So yeah, it's it came out 34 months ago in October 2020. So the
34 weeks ago.
The thing about this, that's my joke.
Oh, I got you.
This year feels like it's got 87 months.
I got you.
Every day is 3 weeks long.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Dog
but
ears.
the thing about this band is my buddy Sean had hit me to him earlier on in the year in like January, and there's a song on their last album Zam called I'm Underneath You.
Yep.
And it's a monster of a song.
Yep.
And that was the song that grabbed me by the nuts the first time I heard it. I was like, holy crap, these guys are good. And they were playing at a little club on the north side called Sleeping Village, where Andrew and I saw Wand, and they were playing there in February. The problem was February is a birthday month in my family, and so just not a really good time for me to go. So I missed the show, but their name just stuck in my head, and that I'm Underneath You song got a lot of play. So when this album came out, I knew, I had a suspicion it was going to be good. I had no idea it was going to be this good.
Yeah.
I think the thing that separates them from a lot of the other psych bands for me is just how catchy their fucking songs
It's got a lot of hooks.
They are.
Right?
It's so hooky.
They write hooks. The last band that I can think of that caught me like this upon first listen is like White Denim.
Totally. And they
how the
have,
songs fly together.
they have
this
that.
album's kind of like White Denim D. Right?
It is, dude. It is.
Yeah, it's got that same kind of feel where it's like they made a fucking really good, they created an album that sounds like a really good concert, if that
Totally.
makes sense, right? Where it just kind of flows, and the influences are everywhere. Like Black Sabbath, I hear.
Absolutely.
I hear Santana, like
the
Andrew
Clash at times. And,
right?
and
Yeah. They just
the
opened
Beatles.
throttle,
They got a
right?
Yeah,
they got a punk thing. And when I heard them the first few times, absolutely. I thought to myself, like, Tame Impala and White Denim had a kid, and like I had that White Denim thought in my head because they have that like tightness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Their drummer's really good. Their bass player's great. Their rhythm section's just wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, this to me seems like one of those bands that used the pandemic to just kind of come together. They probably all live in the same place. They came together and they woodshedded the shit out of themselves.
Right.
Like that album before this is good.
Yeah.
This album is great.
Oh,
they definitely woodshedded, got better, and that I watched most of that performance that you were talking about,
right.
Rob. Yeah, they were just killing it.
Yeah, I need to see that.
They know these songs inside and out. And this would be a hell of a tour to see.
Dude, I will see them
Wedding
live.
Room.
Right.
Fun stuff, man. Fun stuff. They're gonna like tear down any room they play live.
Absolutely.
Good stuff for sure.
So
Thank
Drew, you liked it
up,
too?
man.
I was actually reading something else. Actually, yeah, I loved it. I mean, it was great.
You liked it that much.
It was great. I've thought of something else. It's great psychedelic rock for sure, and I can see how the live shows would absolutely go nuts.
Sure.
Like, when they bring down the beat and it's heavy, I mean, you just see people just losing their shit all over.
Oh,
the
hell
place.
yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was a pretty advanced album. I want to go back and listen to a couple of other acclaimed albums of theirs, of which you can't remember right now.
And like Kevin mentioned, Zam, it's good, but it's not. This is great. This record's
This
great.
is next level.
Yeah.
They up their game big time. Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell this is a band that is coming together for sure.
Yeah.
It's a great sounding, polished effort that definitely belongs in the team photo for best of the year.
Hell yeah.
For sure.
Sure.
A worthy representative.
All right. Well, why don't we take a break here on the Music Challenge podcast? Bring you these messages. I don't know. We'll have a short break here. And I'm not going to act like it's an ABC, after school special or something like that.
Smoke them if you got 'em.
After these messages, we'll be right back. But take it easy and we'll check out in a
See you
couple
in a few.
minutes.
Peace.
Bye.
Lives in a body, you're not the one who breathes the air. You're not the one whose blood is pumping. You are the one that's everywhere. You're not the one who lives in a body. You're not the one behind the eyes. You're not the one who lives in a body. Now I just had dematerialized.
Remember, everyone, we want you to submit your formative 4. Tell us the musical seeds that set you on your path, and we might review one of your albums right here on the air. You can get on our blog at musicchallenge.fireside.fm or email us at musicchallengepod@gmail.com. Also, you can slip into our DMs at musicchallengepod on Instagram.
Come as close to 4 as you can, but if you need more or less, that's all right too. Remember, musicchallengepod@gmail.com, and you could hear us discuss one of your albums.
Back on the Music Challenge podcast. My name is Andrew, and I'm here with Jed, Kevin, and Rob.
What's up, guys?
And we are going.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. And we are going over the best albums of 2020. Each one of us brought one. And Kevin, I think the floor is yours.
Thank you. The album I'm going to talk about today, which is among my favorites of this whole calendar year, is called "Strange to Explain" by Woods. And this is an indie band. It's a little different flavor than the other 3 bands we're going to talk about tonight. I think their psychedelia is more sneaky. I think that it's definitely more song based, but I think the way I want to describe this band is a phrase that was used. I saw them referred to as jangle merchants. And so, yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. So I've been listening to these guys now for probably about 5 or 6 years, and they've really changed their instrumentation with each album they've made. This is the least dense of all of them. Like, if you listen to earlier albums, there's a lot more notes. And so in this album, they swapped out the guitar for a mellotron, which, like, what's a mellotron, you ask?
I believe that was invented by Frank Zappa.
Really no idea. Well, it was it came out in like 1963. I did a little history on it. And so basically these keys get pressed, which pull tape, little strands of magnetic tape across a little bridge and makes the sound, and you can tune the sounds while they're being played. And so songs like Strawberry Fields, Space Oddity, 2000 Light Home all had this, and so
I know exactly.
Didn't John Paul Jones purchase a mellotron?
Yeah, it's on Zeppelin too. I think the Ocean made
right.
Yeah.
And it's the isn't it the beginning of
it's the thing that if you ever see it, you're like, what are they playing? Because it's really odd.
I've heard it on a lot of prog rock albums, like Genesis. Crimson used it a lot.
Absolutely, Genesis.
I mean, think of the background kind of string sound that it runs a current through all these songs. That's the sound that he's talking about. Like, like and Strawberry Fields. I mean, it sounds like there's a string section, right?
Exactly. And
so
they've done some really cool things. And so the sound of this album is open, airy, and at times it really grabs you. I mean, Jeremy Earl is the leader of this band. His voice itself is an instrument. I don't know. I think with this album came out in the spring, and this was the band I most wanted to see a live show. I wanted to kind of break my live cherry. I wanted to see these guys. I would have probably considered traveling to go see them. They do a festival. They had historically done a festival up in September in upstate New York every year. It would have been a great place to go at a great time. And
that would have been fun.
Exactly. So, I mean, to me, the album just really kind of grabs you. You know, you hear the first song, the first couple of songs, Next to You in the Sea and Where Do You Go When You Dream. They're really these kind of like light, poppy, airy songs. And then as you get deeper into the album, I think you get increasingly rewarded with this band's instrumental prowess, and they just dive deep on a few. I Fell So Hard. I think that song really slaps. And then,
Can't Get Out, that
right? Strange to Explain,
that one
title
is
track. There's a lot of just verse, chorus, verse, catchy stuff. And then the instrumental at the end, Weekend Wind. It's just like the last few songs, Fell So Hard, Light of Day, Be There Still, Weekend Wind, like that whole closing stanza of songs really, it almost like it's where they really open up psychedelically and instrumentally. And I don't know.
It's like that. It's like the S end of that Rose City Band album where those like last three songs are just
but it definitely jived up with that album for sure for me. And like it felt very familiar. The album felt familiar to me, not musically, but with like in the mood and experience that I had listening to it. I listened to it on a drive on like a really rainy day, just like blasting up the highway. And it was just like, there was this hazy sort of dreamlike quality to it. And then like, of course I like read the backtrack of like what he was experiencing, which is basically my entire life, like for the last 10 years. It was just like a lack of sleep. Like they had a baby this last year and like his like sleeplessness and like, like sort of creating this like dreamlike haze that this album sort of exists in. And that really hit home with, or it just felt comfortable, but like exploratory for me, which was really nice. Like if that makes any sense at all.
Jed, like I feel like I'm like the lightning bolt is hitting me when you're saying this, because that is the theme that runs through those, probably my two favorite albums, is that hazy quality, which is pretty much permeated 2020, right? Every day is a Groundhog Day, and you just kind of live in this bubble and this haze. Like I've been physically in a bubble working from home. And so like kind of the psychic bubble exists, and this music to me is like the soundtrack of it. It's been crazy how I've just kind of habitually gone to this album to just wrap me in that blanket of sound that these guys provide. And I don't know, like when you listen to earlier albums by them, there's a lot of guitar, there's a lot of notes. This one is just, it's a warm blanket of music that just kind of wraps you up and makes you feel good.
Yeah.
So,
And it reminded me of, and I don't know why, maybe this is why. It reminded me of Pavement, because it's like this. I can see that. Happy, but it's not sad. Kind of like, I don't know. Is it melancholy? I don't know. But I think it's cool. I love.
What other origins?
And Jennifer loved it, by the way. Go ahead.
What other origins do you think you can spot in here?
What other origins, like
inspirations.
Well, hell, I mean, we just mentioned the Beatles, but the Beatles, and then another thing I couldn't get out of my head was REM.
Oh yeah,
maybe it's the vocals.
No, I think there's a certain you kind of put it as melancholy, but something like
it's
that.
Not happy, but it's yeah.
They definitely have. There's kind of a, I don't know, almost like Jeremy Earl's voice is really unique, and so I think that's the thing that really kind of like that stands out in this band, and the vocal harmonies, like they definitely are a force. And I think, songs like those first couple, Where Do You Go When You Dream, they really stand out. And so, yeah, I think in this way, they sound a little bit like the Beatles. They sound a little bit like 70s FM California haze. Just kind of that whole vibe, right? In all of the things like 70s like FM radio.
Folksy songwriter like thing on it too that I get.
Yeah.
But so it makes it makes like a great little comfortable. I'm excited to explore the rest of the catalog because I don't know these guys.
There's a lot of it, right?
They've got about 5 or 6 albums, and then there's a few live shows on E-Tree. People actually tape these guys. So
E-Tree.
There's a few live performances, or like the archive.
Sure, I haven't heard the word E-Tree in 10 years.
I don't even know why I said that. Wow, it's crazy. Like that's the place where you do BitTorrent from, but no, you can just stream them live.
Sugar Magnolia.
Yeah, but no, they jam live. They bust out some stuff, and they played the other album that really you should probably check out is Purple Mountains. The two guys from this basically did all the music, and so
I did not know
they
that.
were the Jangle merchants that David Berman hired to make all the music, which is one of my favorite albums of last year. Tragic, but listen to Purple Mountains, and you can hear all of those influences too. They're really great musicians, and this is a triumph for them. So check it out. Strange to Explain.
Sweet.
Yeah. And what are you going to do, Andrew?
What am I going to do? All right. Well,
your loaded gun.
Yeah. My only bulleted King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard Chunky Shrapnel, which came out in April of 2020. And it was my favorite album of the year. And I guess I've been on a King Gizzard for couple years now. Been one of my little passion bands because I find them extremely just intriguing. The very first time I heard King Gizzard, the very first name that came to me was actually Frank Zappa, because they were working in such a complex chord structure that I was just like, who the hell can do this? I mean, it was prog pretty much. And, and so I kind of, for that reason, I'm a big prog fan. So I kind of, fell in love with it as modern prog. And I think this album shows off a few things. And one of them is, of course, their technical prowess.
Sure.
I mean, they can certainly turn goat piss into gasoline whenever the fuck they want to. They're one of those bands that can open it up to, all hell is breaking loose. And I should note that Jed and I saw this tour.
You did. I had like a little bit of a flashback, like kind of from listening to this. It was like
so I wrote down
little face melting.
I wrote down during this one song, Let Me Mend the Post. I was like, this is where I was really tripping. Because I'm not exactly sure what happened on stage. I couldn't tell if it was one of the dudes in some sort of outfit. I couldn't tell if it was a woman. I just couldn't tell nothing. So it was quite the experience. So Jed and I, we I think this album would serve more as a refresher than more as a, I don't know if that concert was hard to remember because it was all very intense. It was,
Yeah. And I mean, this album gives a great representation of what it's like to see them because it's a collection of music from I don't even know how many.
And that was my thing is it sounded like you could hear it all. And I know they did. I'm not as familiar with Gizzard as these guys are. But I know my way around it a little bit and you could hear the different styles because they're genre pushing for sure. And, one record will be, said style or have this kind of tinge. And then the next record, I mean, they did a metal record.
Yeah,
didn't
they did.
Quotes. Yes.
And then, so then
in
you can hear that in this. It's, I don't know.
Oh yeah. There are several from that. I forget what album it is.
That's what I figured because I'm not familiar
you
with
can tell which ones they are because
I'm like, this has to be
right. The double drum goes pretty freaked out when.
Yes, it does, dude. They got that gallop going. Yeah,
they do not hold back. They do not slow down at all. And I'm just looking at the list right here, and I think it was on Planet B that I was like
Planet B
was just like dripping off of my skull, and I was backing away.
Frankly, I fast forwarded away through those things. Planet B through hell. I decided not to take in because I mean, other than that, man, I mean, like take a song like The River, which is my favorite fucking track on this thing. One of my favorite tracks they do. And it starts out as, kind of a psychedelic little ditty. And then they do the whole jazz reprieves out of it. It's like 6 minutes of a perfect jazz sounding chart and of the same song. And then it sinks into this deep jam, deep like psychedelic jam. And, and these guys got real chops, man. I mean, they can, move from genre to genre, but they have some real fucking chops. Now, I understand that the chord structure probably isn't everyone's cup of tea, but I think you got to, give it a shot. Try it to like it. I will also say that, like, Rob, this is Anko, and I guess you both discussed this at some point. The first 3 songs in this album are widely representational of what they can do. The first song is a studio song, which is just kind of like a power note, like this kind of giant welling sound that is building up. And, it's kind of monotone and droning and, it's powerful as fuck. It's a buildup. And then it goes into that light track, The River, not light as in not jam worthy, because it fucking goes crazy. And it's from an album called Quarters, where each song is 10 minutes and 14 seconds long. Therefore, each song is one quarter of the album. It's kind of things you do. I think when these guys smoke a lot of pot.
the parallels.
Yeah, there it is.
The
2015
parallels
quarters.
between like this band and the OCs in terms of the sheer output of their music is frankly intimidating to me. It's weird. Like I think I first heard about these guys with "I'm in Your Mind" Fuzz, and like I really liked that album. And then some point in time, like I kind of maybe got out of psychedelic music for a little while. I was just kind of getting into some other bands, and all of a sudden I look up and they had like 10 albums out, and I felt like, oh my god, like
it's hard.
Holy shit!
You can't even touch catching up with all of it.
Like they kind of lapped me, and so God bless them. I respect the hell out of the chops of these guys, and I appreciate like there was shit going on in here that my brain couldn't like handle at the time that I had this fucking thing on my headphones.
Yeah.
It was that intense at times. And like, it's really a mind fuck if you're not ready for it. I definitely want to see this stuff live.
I would love
it's a hard listen. Like it's a challenging
it's a hard
listen.
listen.
It's a challenging listen. And I gotta be honest with you. I'm intimidated as hell by their catalog. I don't know. I'll have to like make me a primer or something.
Yeah, I guess I could be your
Andrew,
your
you
rabbi.
Know what I mean? Jesus Christ. Because like I said, I turned my head and all of a sudden there's 10 fucking albums by these guys, and they kind of like, they really, really, there's so many places to go, but it seems like they do it all really well, and I'm ready. So,
I mean, they don't do it all.
You can always pick and choose. Like you listen to it halfway through something, you're like, nope. Like, and then you move on to the next album, and it's something completely different. So, like, I don't think they're hitting it out of the park with all of them. Maybe I haven't listened to all of them.
I don't know. I mean, like the heavy metal one is pseudo heavy metal. And the thing is, it is a laser beam in between the eyes. I mean, as far as how they play it, whatever. I mean, there is no interludes or romantic whatever.
It's brash.
Yeah.
Well, and it's crazy how there's all these bands from Australia that are just kicking ass, and some
AC/DC.
Totally psychedelic. Boy, here goes smart ass with the AC.
But Road Warriors.
Kevin's talking about Tame Impala.
Yeah.
And
well,
I mean,
that Kimono Drag Queens album.
Oh yeah, that's legit.
Dude,
Pond.
Holy crap,
that is
that
another one. Yeah. It's killer.
Yeah.
And of course I noticed, yes, they are from Australia.
Well, that's the fucking album that I want Tame Impala to get back and make.
I hear
guitar
that,
in that fucking guy's hands instead of keyboards.
Exactly.
Whatever. I was blown away.
But I mean, even like, Pond, I guess Pond is a spinoff of that.
Well, it's one of the dudes from Tame Impala.
Have you guys heard of this band Tropical Fuckstorm?
Yes.
No. I think it sounds like a weed strain that one time.
Dude. Oh yeah.
At Cochrane's in Champaign.
Another one from Australia. The guy in that band Tropical Fuckstorm, I think has produced a couple Gizzard albums. But they're worth a listen to. Another Australian band.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so they stayed in Australia for a while. I guess they're, I couldn't even tell you that the big city that they are actually out of. But then they moved to LA, I do believe, and are living and touring out of the States now. Because I feel like when the pandemic hit, Jesus, Chad, didn't we have like 2 or 3 of these damn King Gizzard shows lined up or something like that? It seemed like.
Yeah, there was definitely at least one, a couple.
Yeah.
Coming back.
It was.
They're supposed to play at that new big venue.
Yeah, they were supposed to play down in what do you call that?
Radius.
Yes.
Right. Down in
a brand new venue. God, I didn't even think about that.
Can you imagine?
Oh, bad timing, eh?
Since 2012, they've released 16 records.
They released 5 in 2018, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, as a dare, they announced they were going to do it, and they did it.
Yeah. So, Kevin, you're right. It's hard to keep up with. What this album has, there's also... No, I don't think you can. There's also from the same, I think it's a 2020. It might be a 19. There's a Live from LA that I listened to, and both of them I think are just awesome representations of what a band that can do a lot of things can do on a stage in front of people, because they
I'll have to give that a try.
They do not hold back. They throw down the entire time, and they just blast music at you. Like, there's only a handful of bands that I can think of that just project the amount of like sound energy like at you while they're playing.
It seems,
and frankly,
and you do have to be prepared, because I
does.
feel the exact same way. As I tried a couple times to get through it, and I was like, I don't think this is an album that's meant to get through. Like, you take it a piece at a time, you know. Like,
so did anyone get to the last song?
One of the strong. Oh, I listened to this right when it came out, so like I was
me
familiar
too. But
with
the
it.
last song, it would take you several listenings to get to.
Yes,
A Brief History of the Planet of Earth, 19 minutes long, and it is glorious.
Yes, I
It
listened
is
to that
not-
tonight, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is not one of those heavy metal songs. It is a glorious fucking song where they show off their full potential of jamming.
Yeah, it's a multi-sweet jam thing. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
That one I really dug.
And-
Yes.
and
If
Could you just
that
roll? Could
maybe
you
I
just
need
play
the
the
hook-
entire after this?
Yeah. What'd you say, Kevin?
well, I mean, I said maybe I need a song to hook me, and maybe that's the one. I don't know. I'll
Sure.
have to go back to it. But that was definitely the eye opener for me, was that last song, because I listened to it in 3 separate chunks. It looked like, at least the way I read it, it was like they did like a little instrumental track, and then they
In
just
between.
played like a snippet. So I kind of looked at it like, all right, I'm going to listen to this in 3 distinct sections.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I did today with that other one, and that's how it ended, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a really good jam.
Yeah. I mean, they have
Yeah,
a few
do it
songs.
that way.
Yeah. I mean, frankly, yeah, there's one section to me that isn't as good as the rest, and that would be off that, the heavy metal album.
Yeah,
metal.
Otherwise, the stuff after the heavy metal album on here is really fucking good. Inner Cell is a great fucking song, and it felt like the other two, Loyalty and Horology, were continuations of that song. They have a lot of names of songs that aren't actually words recognized by spell checker. Amnesia, Amnemesis. There you go. But in any case, yeah, these guys can just bring it when they want to. And the thing, they are genre bending. There's probably at least 5 genres represented on this album.
Absolutely.
And it's, and when they want to cut loose, just like a few other bands in the world, I mean, they can make it sound like, the rafters are coming down from the place. And if you're in the mood for it, there is nothing better. And more times than not, I'm in the mood for it. So that's frankly what I pay to go see rock and roll for, is, move my world.
Right. I think that's what we all go
Right
see
on.
for, right?
I guess,
Oh.
depends what trips your trigger. So I guess that's Chunky Shrapnel in a heartbeat. And I strongly encourage people to go out and listen to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Chunky Shrapnel.
And check out Frankie and the Witch Fingers while you're out
Yeah,
there.
check
too.
out the Frankie and the Witch Fingers.
Check out Strange to Explain by Woods while you're at it.
Sure.
and check
Sure.
out OCs for sure. I mean, like, if you've made it this far, you probably have already. Assume, but yeah,
Get ready to consume some music.
there's a lot of good music on these 4 albums for sure. Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we definitely did 2020 justice.
Okay. All right. So I guess for the Music Challenge podcast, this is Peace Out 2020. And we'll see you on the other side of the New Year's, probably pretty quickly after the New Year's. And
we invite you to put your favorite stuff on our
Facebook. Give us something to listen to.
I will invite you to put your favorite
Aaron
stuff on the music page.
Hey, Drew, why don't you read out our socials?
Oh, that's
quick?
right. So if you want to go to our Facebook page, just go to Facebook and search for Music Challenge Pod, and it will take you right to our Facebook page, and you can participate in the conversation. The latest conversation was, what is your favorite album from your birth year? And we have actually gotten over 700 responses on that in total. About 100 of which are albums that people really like, if you know what I mean. So we might do some harvesting of that for ideas. But yeah, we do other shit on there.
Yeah, keep sending us your ideas, right? We love you. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
No doubt.
As well, if you want to email us, which some people do, you can email us at musicchallengepod@gmail.com. Got it right. musicchallengepod@gmail.com. So, and also like, share, and subscribe, please, 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 and write reviews, because we're trying to make this into something. And
give us a 5-star review on Apple Music.
For some reason, people think this is going to ruin their credit rating or something like that if they give us a review. But trust me, folks, no one's going to hassle you, and it would really help us. So we're trying to spread the love.
We need to get a mattress sponsor, right?
A mattress sponsor,
mattress company, or a pre-made food company, right?
I'm working on a brew shop. We'll work on it. We'll see how that goes. So for the Music Challenge podcast, I'm Andrew, and this is the cast and crew. Jed, see ya.
Good day, all, and good night, 2020.
Peace out, 2020. Rob?
See you guys. Peace, 2020.
Peace out, 2020. May everyone enjoy a happy, prosperous, safe 2021. We love you. Stay safe. Be well.
Right.
Here.
And don't blow your hands off. No fireworks on New Year's Eve. Have a safe celebration at your home.
Keep your hands in your pants.
Yes.
Inside,
not outside.
Yeah, stay in and don't get together for the holidays.
Yeah, wear a mask.
Wear a mask. Get a vaccine if you can. Nobody can get it. It's all sitting in a warehouse.
Actually, I've got a vaccine.
I read someone posted a thing, and one of her
the herpes
on Facebook
vaccine doesn't count.
And one of her friends, who's a small lady, has started telling everyone to pull, like, if they're wearing their mask under their nose, and calling it their face dick. Hey, pull a thing up over your face dick, like out in the open, like in the grocery store. I don't know why I thought that was pertinent, but it kind of fits the year.
I don't know. We'll discuss.
Goodbye, Rob. You need to go to bed.
Good night,
all right,
guys.
Good night, guys.
Sleep.
This is the end of the
Good night,
Challenge
gentlemen.
podcast.
Good night,
Good night.
audience.
We will talk to you next year. Bye.